Welcome to yet another exciting educational video brought to you by Upvision Concepts Academy. So in today's lesson, we'll be looking at biology and reproduction is the topic, asexual and sexual reproduction. So in this video, we'll look at the key term, reproduction, what is reproduction, the types of reproduction, the asexual reproduction methods, and we'll see sexual reproduction in animals, sexual reproduction in plants. Now we'll look at advantages of asexual reproduction and the disadvantages, and we'll also compare that with sexual reproduction. So sit tight and enjoy the video. If you're here to subscribe to our channel, kindly subscribe to our channel and be the one to get the first videos even as it drops. All right, so we'll dive in. So what is reproduction? So reproduction is the process by which living organisms reproduce a new species of its kind, ensuring that there is continuity of existence. So this is a biological process, okay? This is a biological process by which a species reproduces its kind in order to ensure continuity. Okay, so that is the process of life, of course. Okay. So that is what reproduction does. So there are two types of reproduction. So number one, we have the asexual reproduction. And number two, we have the sexual reproduction. Okay, so the asexual reproduction has to do with one parent, only one parent. It involves the reproduction by one parent. So no fusion of gametes. Offsprings are genetically identical clones. Okay, so this occurs in a particular kind of organism, not all. Humans are not part of this system. For humans, it involves two persons. So sexual reproduction actually involves two parents, fusion of male and female gametes to produce offspring with genetic variation. So in this sexual reproduction, there is genetic variation, while in asexual reproduction, there is an identical, it's 100% or 99.9%, it's like a clone of itself, okay? So I will just put a note under it for us to see. For asexual reproduction, it involves only one parent. Involves only one parent, okay, and no fusion, no join together of gametes. Gametes are the things that are used for reproduction. You understand? And the offsprings are identical. Offsprings are identical. Okay, so I've just tried to squeeze in this what I've just said. So they're like, it's like a clone. Clone, that's just exactly the same. Okay, clones. There's a plural there. Okay, so for sexual reproduction, here it involves two parents. You see, it involves two parents. What else? Of course, one of the parents is male and the second one is female. So it involves two parents. Then I would say male and female gametes. Male and female gametes. Yes. Gametes. Okay. And it produces offspring with slight variation. Why? Because both parents will contribute. Yes, with slight variation. So both parents will contribute gametes, and there will be a distortion. Why? For this first one, asexual, you will see that it's exactly the same. Exactly the same. The single parent reproduces itself, in its offspring. So we look at the types of asexual reproduction. There are 5 here. I have the binary fission, the budding, spore formation, vegetative propagation, and fragmentation. Okay, so just know them. Though I developed a very good mnemonics for this. I call it Big Boys Sing Very Fine. So this is a very good mnemonic for you to remember. This exciting mnemonic, you need to remember these 5 types of asexual reproduction. Big boys sing very fine. B here is for binary fusion. B here is for budding. S here is for spore formation. V here is for vegetative propagation. And F is for fragmentation. So what are these methods? For binary fusion, it has to do with a parent splits into 2 equal halves, e.g. ammonia. So a parent splits into 2 equal halves, e.g. ammonia. So amoeba, sorry, I said ammonia. I'm thinking about chemistry right now. So amoeba is an organism that splits into 2 organisms in the process known as a binary fission. Now, budding is, in this situation, a new organism grows from the parent plant, okay, like a yeast and hydra. So from this one, a new organism that looks like the parent, a new organism grows from the parent plants, okay, e.g. yeasts. So yeast is the one that exhibits this kind of. Another one too is hydra. Hydra too can do that. Hydra. Okay, so spore formation. What does it mean? It's a special reproductive cell released to form organisms, e.g. rhizopus. So rhizopus is an organism that does this. It releases spore and forms itself. So there are special reproductive cells. They call them spores. This is spore. It's called spores. Okay, so they are reproductive cells. So what happens is that it is releasing. If spores are releases, it forms another new organism identical to the first one. So vegetative propagation is where new plants grow from stems. So here is just simple. New plants grows from stems. Okay, we do this practice a lot in agriculture, where we just take the stem. It could be stem, it could be roots, it could be leaf. So you generate a new organism or plant from those parts of the plant. And finally, under these types of asexual reproduction methods, I have fragmentation. The parent body breaks into fragments, each growing into a new organism, like Spirogyra. Spirogyra is the one that does this. Spirogyra. So what does it do? The parent body breaks into fragments. It breaks into fragments, each growing into a new organism, looking like the initial one. So we're going to be looking at the key difference between animals and plants, that is sexual reproduction. We have defined asexual reproduction to say that it is when a single parent gives birth to or reproduces its kind without any involvement from other party. So, but this type of reproduction method, that is sexual reproduction method, is where two entities are involved. Gamete is being exchanged. Okay, so we are going to study how it looks like in animals and study how it looks like in plants, because also plants can also be involved in sexual reproduction. So let us see the difference. For the first one, I have that for animals, under animals. How does sexual reproduction work? Number one, it involves male gametes and female gametes. So this one involves male gametes. For the male gametes is sperm, and female gametes, that's the ovary or eggs. Okay? So I can put the two together. Okay, so again, for animals, I have fertilization can be external, that is outside the body, e.g. frogs, or inside the body, e.g. humans. So fertilization can be external, e.g. frogs. For frogs, it happens outside, or internal, e.g. humans. And the third one here is that zygote develops into embryo. From embryo, it goes to fetus and to the young. So the zygote is the product of the two, of the fertilization that has happened, the two gametes. Okay, so zygote develops into embryo, and from embryo it goes to fetus, and for fetus it goes to the young. Okay, so we'll look at the plants. For the plant, it involves flowers. So number one, flowers are involved. So you have both for both male and female. So it's flowers. So the male organ, stamen, produces polygrain. So for the male, you have stamen, which produces polygrain, and this is actually transmitted by birds or by butterflies. So the female gamete for flowers is known as the carpel, or you can call it it's carpel, and this has ovaries. So this is where the polygrain is being received. Understand? And in sexual reproduction in plant, pollination is the process. Where polygrain transferred from the male is from the anther to the stigma. Okay, is the transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma. Okay, so the stigma, that is for self or cross-pollination. Okay, now self-pollination is where the same plant, the pollen from the same plant fertilizes the carpel of the same plant. You understand? Okay, and it moves from where? From the anther to the stigma. So that is pollination. So there is self-pollination and cross. For cross-pollination, either the thing goes from one plant to another, either by way of wind blowing the pollens, or by birds carrying the pollen grains to the other side when it's feeding, or butterflies. Okay, so that's this pollination concept under the plants. It doesn't happen in animals, that's why I'm putting it under the plants. Okay. Now the fourth concept here is fertilization. Fertilization. Though we have it in the animal where there's okay. So fusion of male gametes, polynucleus with female gametes, oval. So this is what the fertilization means. That is where there is a fusion between the male gametes and the female gametes, and the oval turns to seeds, and ovary turns to fruits. So here I have oval turns to seeds, and and ovary turns to fruits. So this is how fruit is the product, is the final thing that is produced from the reproduction process. So this is just the difference between animal sexual reproduction and the plant sexual reproduction. So we'll quickly move to the advantages of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Number one advantage is that it is fast. It is fast. It is simple, and one parent is needed. So it's fast, it's simple, and one parent is needed. Number two, many offspring produce in a short time. So many offspring is produced in a short time. So that is the advantage of asexual reproduction. Okay, and for disadvantage, I have that it's no variation, less ability to adapt. So no variation, that means it does not change the same. Is that is a disadvantage? No variation, that is, you just have the same. You just have the same type, the same make, the same feature, everything. Understand? We cannot tweak it. We cannot have it look different from the original one. So it's less ability to adapt. Less ability to adapt. Less ability to adapt. Okay. So these are the advantages. Now we'll also look at the advantages of sexual reproduction. What are the advantages? So for sexual reproduction, the advantage is that variation leads to evolution and adaptability. Okay. So you see that by the time you bring the gamete of the male and the female and every gene and chromosome that is attached to it, you will see that the offspring is slightly different from one of the parents. Understand? So the offspring is actually a combination of attributes of both parents. So this is actually a variation. This is actually a difference. Understand? And you can even further do tweaking. I think science has given us that opportunity to do that in the space of sexual reproduction. So variation leads to evolution and adaptability. Leads to evolution. Evolution is a change, and adaptability. Okay, so disadvantage of this is that slower energy consuming requires two parents. So the two parents must be present. Slower is energy consuming, and it requires the two parents. They must be present too. They must be present. If not, it's not going to work. Okay. Okay, so we'll wrap up the lesson with a simple experiment. The aim is to demonstrate spore formation in rhizopause. So, procedure, we're going to place moist bread in a container. Just put moist bread in the container, cover it, or you can leave it. After 2 or 3 days, observation is that you will see formation of sporangia, black, substance these are spores. So the rhizopore has reproduced itself, and you see them in quantum. There are many being formed. So this comes to the end of the lesson. We looked at reproduction, types of production, sexual and asexual reproduction. Sexual involves two organisms coming together to reproduce its kind. That's what reproduction is all about. The ability for organisms, plants and animals to reproduce its kind in order to ensure that life is continuous. So for sexual reproduction, two organisms are involved, and for asexual reproduction, only one is involved. So we saw the advantages and disadvantages and the features of this kind of production. If you like what we're doing in this series, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And I hope this video has been informative for you. I would like to thank you for viewing. See you in the next one.